welcome. My name is April Brown and I'm out of Norman International in Dallas. And today we are going to discuss Frenchdoor cutouts and focusing on option D. First, what you need is you need your essential tools, which are going to be your blue tape and a good measuring tape. You need to have one that has larger numbers so it's nice and legible for you. You need also to have a clipboard. I do not have a clipboard today, so I'm going to use my pad. This is so that you make sure that you are writing your numbers clearly and concisely. Don't rush it, because if you're anything like me, I get in a hurry sometimes and I get to scribbling and cannot read my own writing later on. So write very clear, very concise, so that you can read it later. So next you also need your cutout form to put your data, and lastly your frame. So the predominant frame for cutouts A, B, C, and D is the L frame. You've got the front of your frame and you've got your light block right there. But the thing that you need to know is you need to know the back of the frame is 1.5 inches, because this is what is going to be mounting to your door. So you're going to mark your door. I've already marked mine, and I've got my measurement points, and I have my tape in the shape of an L as to emulate the back of the L frame. And so that would go right there. And it only takes a few minutes to do this to ensure that you get good measurements, okay? It's worth the time to put up the tape. 4 minutes probably max to do that. So note that the glass is behind the trim all the way around on 4 sides, and this can extend out to about 3/4 of an inch depending on the manufacturer. So this is why we recommend that you place the frame on the outside of that, as you do not want to accidentally break the glass. So the width of the glass on here is from the edge of the trim to the edge of the trim is 23 3/4 of an inch. And the height is 65 3/4 of an inch. And again, bottom to top, okay? So in giving measurements on the French door, the factory will not allow window size measurements, only max frame to frame. So we know that the back of the frame is 1.5 inches, and we know that this is going to go on both the left and the right side of the frame, so of the window. So we're going to add on 3 inches to our measurement that we already have. Now, best practices says to add on 1/4 of an inch to both the width and the height, so that you can allow your installer some racking room. And that is because we need the reveal between the panel and the frame to be of equal distance. So if our glass is 23 3/4 of an inch, and we add on 3 inches for the frame and 1/4 inch for the room, the breathing room, that will make our max frame to frame measurement width to be 27 inches. Now, from bottom to the top, we are going to add on our 3 1/4 inches to the 65 3/4, and that is going to give us 69 inches. Max frame to frame. So go ahead and write these measurements on your form. You've got an image of the door right here. I would go ahead and write out 69 MFF and 27 MFF, so you know it's max frame to frame and you don't confuse yourself later. Let's see. So in the D cutout, the factory just wants to know where you want the cutout to be. They want to know where the bottom of the cutout is going to be and where the top of the cutout will be. So what we need to do is we need to first find out where the bottom is going to be. So we need to find out where the lever stops. And I've got a mark right here where the lever stops, but I'm going to add on 1 inch to that. So my measurement is going to be from where the bottom of the frame should be, at the bottom of my blue tape, and I'm going to measure up to my mark, and that is 24 inches. So the bottom of my cutout is going to start right at 24 inches. Now my top of the cutout is going to be an inch above where the lock is. So I have measured that out, and it is 41.5 inches. So next, they also they want to know where it's going to start, where it's going to end, and how deep it's going to be. So to find out the depth, I'm just going to measure from where the frame is and out to the edge of the handle, which is 3 inches. I'm going to add an inch to that, so I've got 4 inches for my depth. And as you can see, the best practice is to add an inch, and that is so that you can make sure you can move and operate your lever. So I've got my bottom of my cutout at 24 inches, the top of my cutout at 41.5 inches, and my depth at the 4 inches, and now the perimeter of my frame is complete. The next question is regarding the projection of the trim. The projection is what qualified us for this particular cutout. The cutout is, for C, is a flush cutout, but the D actually has an 1.5 inch offset onto the inside of the cutout block, and then it's also got an offset for the back of the door. So you will have the edge of the frame can attach to the door, and the cutout block rests on top of the trim. And so to measure how far that comes off of the door, what the projection is, easiest way is to put your clipboard up against the trim and measure from the back of the trim to the clipboard, and that is about 1/2 inch. So the projection of my trim is 1/2 inch. Now remember, best practice of this is you're going to have your standard L frame, and this is going to come off the door enough and allow you to have a clear louver movement for a 2.5 inch louver. If you want a 3 or a 3.5 inch louver, you will have to have a 1/2 inch build out on the back of this. If you want a 4 inch louver, you'll need 1 inch. So it asks you, is a cutout block required? And the answer is always yes. The cutout is, that is what is going to block the light out for you. So pay attention also to where the cutout is. So obviously this is on the left side of my door, but you'd be surprised at how many people go back and they go home to enter this in, and they enter it in on the wrong side of the door. Take a photo. I would always take a photo when doing these measurements, just in case you need to go back and look at anything. You have something to refer back to without having to go back to the house to see it. So always take a picture, and always remember what side your door, your cutout is going to be on. So this is my brief overview of the D cutout block for French door options, and I appreciate you coming to watch, and I hope that you learned something. Thank you so much.